Hey everybody, Wade Galt with the 3-Day Weekend Entrepreneur Academy and author of Put Your Money Where Your Soul Is. Really excited today to engage you in our 3-Day Weekends in 4 Days challenge. This is by far the most aggressive challenge we've had as far as helping people get acclimated and understanding as quickly as possible how to implement some of the key strategies of creating a 3-day weekend lifestyle. So I work with entrepreneurs and I also work with employees, freelancers, side hustlers, startups, whatever the situation and person is, to help them create a lifestyle that allows them to enjoy life outside of work and also time to enjoy family, friends, freedom, life, and just really have fun along the way. This is not about taking time to only rest and forgetting about our customers. We still have to make money. We still have to make an impact. We still have to deliver for people if in the long run we want a solid business model. But it doesn't need to be struggle. It doesn't need to constantly be this sense of overwhelm and fighting for survival. It's very possible to create a situation where you're enjoying the process. Yes, you are working hard. Yes, you are doing great things for people. And yet at the same time, you're able to have fun. You're able to enjoy your family, your friends. And depending on whatever stage of life you're at, you're able to make sure that you're enjoying that you're not looking back and missing out. So many of us know that there's this concept that simply comes around people reaching their deathbed and saying, gosh, I wish I would have spent more time with my loved ones. I wish I wouldn't have worked so hard. I wish I would have spent more time enjoying life. That book by Bronnie Ware, the nurse who worked with people who were coming close to death. And she wrote the book, The 5 Regrets of the Dying. And so many of those regrets were about not staying connected with people that we love, not being able to do and be the person we want to be, and then also spending too much time working. So again, to be clear, this is all about being able to do both, to make a positive, huge, powerful impact in the people's lives, the people we serve as our customers, the people we work with as our team members, and the people in our lives, our family members, our friends, our loved ones. And at the same time, make sure that there's abundant income and there's abundant time to enjoy it all. And so what I want to do is in this challenge, invite you to be part of a group that really excels with implementing things. So I've taught this work for years. And sometimes when I teach these concepts, some people will implement these in a matter of, let's say, a year or two. Then there's other people that will implement this in a matter of 6 to 12 months. Some people implement it in 3 months. Some people implement it in about a month, and some people will implement it pretty much as soon as they hear about it. And that's what this 3-day weekends in 4 days challenge is. It's an invitation, if you're an entrepreneur, to look at how could you make this happen as quickly as possible. If you're one of those people that's already earning your target income, if you're already making the income you need to support your family, to support yourself, to have the lifestyle you want, and make sure you're saving for retirement, paying for the insurance you need, all those good things, then it might be as simple as you making some shifts in priorities. On the other hand, for some people, it might be a longer journey, and that's okay. In my case, it took me 22 years after graduating college with a degree to make this happen in my life. The first 7 years, I was working for a really solid Fortune 50 company, really enjoyed working with them, but this was many years ago, and that wasn't the time when these things were happening, the 4-day work week sort of situation as it is today. And then the next 15 years, growing my business as an entrepreneur, making sure I was making enough money for myself, but then also finding a way to make sure I made time for my loved ones, time to enjoy life. And as a man now of 52 years old, I can tell you I do not regret a single minute that I've had with my family, that I've spent doing things that perhaps had an opportunity cost financially, but did not have an opportunity cost as far as relationships or lifestyle or enjoyment. So the 4-day challenge is broken into 4 specific days with 4 very specific objectives. And on the first day, what I'm going to encourage you to do is to focus on something that can be done whether you're an entrepreneur or not, whether you're a startup, whether you're a student thinking of becoming an entrepreneur. This is something that everybody can do, and that is to schedule your ideal life and start making the most of the time you already have available to you. So one of the things that I've been blessed to do, I've worked from home as an entrepreneur for coming up on about 25 years now. And there are a lot of things that people glamorize about working from home. There's things that are not so fun about working from home. Sometimes it gets a little lonely. Sometimes it gets a little boring. But one of the things that I've been able to do that's been so awesome, at least to me, is as an entrepreneur, I've been able to work from home. As a father, I've been able to be around my children as they've been growing up and watching them at certain milestones. And then as a husband and as a friend, I've been able to, well, with my wife, travel and live in different parts of the world because for us, the priority was enjoying life. I can tell you, I've made financial decisions I regret, but I've never made decisions about spending time with family or loved ones that I regret. And so, what I want to do is just right away go into a very simple concept and one worksheet that we're going to use in this entire process that's going to help you to start putting together what it is you most want to have happen. And the way this works is for you to start getting very clear about what you most want to have in your ideal life. And so the first thing is to consider what are those highest quality investments you want to make of your time, your energy, your love. What are those three relationships? And these don't have to be new relationships. This might be a reconnection. I just did this recently for myself. And in my case, it's family and friends and my children, my wife. So, what are those three relationships that are most important? These are personal relationships, not business relationships, but the most important relationships that if you nurture these and you grow in these, that your life is going to become better than it's ever been or as good as it's ever been. And say taking something so simple, writing that down, and then taking the time to schedule that in your calendar. And this is the part where most people miss out. So a lot of people will do this sort of goal setting work or this vision work or whatever you want to call it. And they'll write down a list of things. And yes, writing down a list is extremely powerful, but they miss that step that is 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more powerful. They won't do the part where they go ahead and then implement it into their life. And so if you can then take these relationships, whoever those people are, and then now schedule that in your calendar to say, okay, at this time, I'm going to invest time with this person. At this time, I'm going to invest time with this other person, and make it very clear, make it very obvious what's possible if you, in your schedule, spend your time the way you like. Now, you might not be able to get it be exactly the way you want as quickly as possible. It might be something that takes a while to happen, but you being able to choose it, you being able to schedule it is going to make a huge difference. And again, making the list is great. Thinking about it is great, and that will cause some change, but scheduling in your calendar, knowing that sometimes it might not work, but being able to work on that is going to make a huge impact on your ability to do things. Now, the second thing, if you want to enjoy your ideal life, starts coming back to something that's a little bit more personal, and those are simply activities. Now, these might be activities with family and friends, or it might be activities you enjoy solo. So it could be a hobby, it could be something you simply enjoy doing. And one of the things that you'll find, depending on your age, is as you get older, there are certain things you can't do. Even if it's something, and that might be physically, but even if it's something as simple as when you're in high school, all your friends are around you. If you go to college, you're around all your peers, then you're out of college, and okay, there's less people around you your same age, or whatever that situation looks like for you. But life has stages, and certain times there's things we miss out on and we don't get to do. And if we're able to be very clear about what we enjoy most, life outside of work, our ideal schedule, our ideal life, can simply be about making sure we include those activities that are most important to us. So in my case, being able to have date night with my wife, when we do that, that's awesome. And we are parents of an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old. And I can tell you there's many times, as much as I wish I could say that we've stuck to it all the time, that we've not stuck to it. We've not been able to, or we've not been able to figure it out, or we simply made choices for our kids and our family that we're still grateful for that we made. But when I can have that time with my wife, when we can go to the beach, when we can go out on a date night, that is something that is huge for us. And if that's something we can do on a regular basis, it just adds such a high quality of life. And what you're going to see also is so many of these things might not be once in a lifetime things. They might be repetitive things. They might be things you do over and over. But as you get to do them, as you enjoy them, your life feels better. Your life tends to kind of slow down a little bit because you start realizing, you know what, there's time. There's time to enjoy these things. And so the next step is then to decide what are three enjoyable activities that you're going to do every week. This could be spending time with your family. It could be going to a family dinner or having family dinner. In my case, I like to play volleyball at the beach, usually on Fridays, sometimes on a different day of the weekend, sometimes more than once. But that's an anchor activity for me. That's something that's so huge to me. And that particular activity, unlike the date night with my wife, does not have anything to do with my spouse or my family. At least at its core, it's always been about me playing volleyball. Sometimes my wife will come to the beach. Sometimes my son will play once in a while. My daughter's now gotten into volleyball more. So that's been something that's become more enjoyable. And that's morphed into me helping coach her high school volleyball team. And that's great too. But at the core of that is actually a me activity. It's not a someone else activity of me being able to enjoy beach volleyball. I don't know the reasons why. I like chasing the ball around in the sand and hitting it over net. It makes me happy. Being able to do that makes me feel like I'm living an ideal life. So hopefully what you're seeing is a lot of this can be very simple. It's not necessarily about you having something grandiose or some brand new epic experience every single week. That's really kind of a tough way to live. It's a bit of a up and down roller coaster way of living, and it's very hard to maintain. This is about simple things that you know you're going to enjoy, and you know you're going to be able to get a sense of relaxation and recharge and come back to work ready to give it your best. And again, with these, once you write them down, please go ahead and schedule them in your calendar. And I'm going to suggest all these activities, you schedule them on usually, hopefully, a weekly or at least a once a month basis or whatever that is. And you use that reminder feature on your smartphone or your calendar, and you keep setting up. And again, sometimes it won't happen, but the more you start to put it on your calendar, the more it's going to happen. It's become more easy and more likely for this to happen for you. And then the third thing really talks to experiences. So you hear people talk about the difference between simply going through life and kind of feeling like you're in the rat race or on a hamster wheel and just kind of watching life go by you, as opposed to having this more, not even necessarily peak experience, but this engaged experience of life. And something that has been so powerful that we've been able to do as a family is not only make time for family, very often for family dinners or activities like that, but something my wife and I chose to do many years ago is I was raised in the United States. My wife was born in Peru, raised a little bit in the US, a little bit in Peru. And so before we had children, we would start going down to Peru for 3 months at a time and living down there, and 6 months at a time. And we lived down there for 2 years at a time, and our daughter was born down there. And so I've been able to live about a little over 4 years of my life down there, got to immerse myself in the culture, still love going back when we go back. And that's one of those experiences that I can tell you during that time, at times it was exhausting to pack up our stuff and rent out our place up here in Florida and then go down to Peru and then go back and forth and figure things out. There's certain parts to it that are very inefficient financially. It's fatiguing at times. There's certain decisions I made that I just look back and I was like, wow, I was really tired. I probably made some not so great decisions financially, and probably some of that at least wasn't helped by how tired I was. And yet those experiences are some of the most powerful and most memorable experiences in our life as a couple, and in mine as a father and as a provider. And so the third thing is to then write down, what are 3 experiences? These do not have to be repeating experiences, but what are 3 experiences you want to have as soon as possible? And so these might be one-time things. Maybe you've always wanted to visit another part of the world. Maybe you've wanted to do something with your kids. Maybe do something with your spouse, whatever it might be. But to write down those 3 things and also schedule those. Put those in your calendar. And of course, for some of those, if they're larger things, it might involve planning. If it's a vacation, it might involve you doing some research. We've been recently preparing for a trip that we're going on to Europe, and really it's a lot more research than I think we ever imagined. And at first, that was a little stressful. And then we started realizing, wow, this is part of the enjoyable part of the process. And we got to learn this from one of our friends and kind of watch what they would do. And so this has been something that's been very enjoyable for us to do this, and then see what could we do, how could we enjoy this more, and how could we share this with our kids. We want our kids to understand that they can be enjoying life at every stage of the process. Yes, they have to work. Yes, things need to be done. Yes, bills need to be paid. Yes, we need to be responsible members of society. And yet, if we're able to get really clear about what's most important to us, the relationships that we want to spend time with, the activities we enjoy most, and the experiences we want to have, very often, even the choices we make financially will be shifted in a way that allow us to put our time and our energy there rather than in things that sometimes maybe are not objectively expensive, but are expensive to us in the way that if we choose them, the opportunity cost is we really can't enjoy what we'd most like to do. So I hope you find this helpful, this first day of the 3-day weekends in 4 days challenge. There's a lot deeper content that can be done. This can be made so much more complex. What I've tried to do for this 4-day challenge is keep the content really light for you and only focus on what you have to do. If you can do this, if you can make this list and start taking action on it this week, it's going to start shifting your life. It's going to start putting you in a better position. And with this, you get increased energy, you get increased confidence. And as an entrepreneur, confidence is such a huge asset to help you create the things that you want. If you don't have an exciting life to look forward to, you're not going to even care to bother to create a 3-day weekend or similar lifestyle. So hope you find this helpful. If you want to go deeper into the challenge, the next 3 days, days 2, 3, and 4, go ahead and register for the challenge. Go to 3dayweekendcoach.com/challenge. And as you can register for the challenge there, and there's some additional resources. And then I'll start sharing with you also these worksheets, these tools. You can also feel free to just message me. If you don't feel like opting in, that's fine. Just message me and say, hey, Wade, can you get me that worksheet? You let me know how to get to you. I'll get it to you. Really committed to helping you enjoy this, enjoy your life, enjoy the process, and fully enjoy your family, your friends, your freedom in your life. So again, thanks for coming out. If you have any questions, let me know. As always, look forward to helping you impact more people with your work, the people you work with, the customers you serve, impact the family that you are a part of, allow you to create more income as a result of that impact and create that income for you, your loved ones, your team members, and your clients, and do that in less time so you can fully enjoy your family, your friends, your freedom, and your life. Thanks so much for listening.